I'm not a public safety person. I don't know public safety. So I need to get educated. I need to understand what that letter really meant, because there's no way any good would come of that letter, so I don't understand it. So I'd like someone to explain it to me. And I don't think it has anything to do with this $40,000.
No, it couldn't have. That letter was composed and then redated, so.
So, that letter and this $40,000, two separate issues. The $40,000, I think we should be committed to it. I think we should certainly be committed to it, because I'm not so sure we fully understand the issue related to the number of staff we need to run our police department. I'd like to get a little educated on it. I understand that the police are gonna give me a biased perspective, because that's what they do, but you know what? That's what this job is, and I need to understand it. You know, when they talk about 2 police officers out at a call, and if there's a public safety issue at another location and they can't cover that, well, what does that mean? I'd like to understand it, because you know what? I have a military background, and my military background tells me this: everything we do, you have to assess risk. And as a selectman, I'm gonna assess the risk, and I'm gonna vote and make decisions, especially when it comes to funding, because funding essentially comes down to people. And I'm gonna make a decision based on risk. And that's the way I'm kind of programmed, and that's the way I'm gonna approach this. But $40,000, you know, we're wasting our time. You know, we have bigger things to fry about, you know, $40,000, we're gonna need to move on. We need to get this relationship with our police department, we need to get it fixed. And we need to start by talking, calm it down, stop with these ridiculous letters, because that does no one any good. And so I'm gonna suggest that we take that approach, and we commit to the $40,000.
Well, you're most welcome to go and talk to them. Hopefully.
I am, you're welcome to join me, I'm going May 27th at 2:30, and you're all welcome to join me.
Might have to post it.
If there's more than right, and, you know, if that's what we have to do.
Okay. Mr. Belliconis?
Again, the motion that's in your packet has the dollar amounts. The school amount, which is not included in the motion, is $23,269,572.
We're not voting on that?
I would hope that you would vote on all of those numbers,
Right, yeah.
including the school number.
School number, right. And the school number, you've taken the ARA $250,000 off of the number, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So
because
you're
they're
gonna
getting
have
that
a-
directly.
You gonna revise the revised?
No, that's why I'm asking you to, please take your pen and paper and write down the school number.
Okay, so this revised one I have doesn't
Yeah,
have
you're
it?
gonna add one more line
Revised,
item.
revised.
Got it.
$23,269,572. 72.
And that's for the school.
That's the school number, including the amounts that the board dedicated at the meeting 2 weeks ago.
It includes the error money too,
All right?
This number doesn't look familiar.
right?
Yeah, it has
It
to
does.
include
I'm
that,
looking at
Yeah, it
the,
doesn't look familiar.
yeah.
looking at
It should
budget
be,
projection
it shouldn't be
dated 5/6.
$125,000 less, right?
Mr. Misery?
The
Yeah,
error
should be-
money is included in the $23,269,572.
Right. Right, but we don't want, it shouldn't be there.
Well, I'm saying then you feel free to deduct it out. I'm saying to you it's in that figure that I just gave you.
Yeah, okay, all right. Because what we're voting on is what the town is providing. The ARA money is coming directly to the school.
Right, that's how this revenue projection is set up. That money was put aside, put in at the end to give it.
Right, so the number that Greg gave us, Joe, included that number. We want to take it out for what we're voting.
Right.
Because the money is going directly to the school. Town meeting doesn't vote on the $125,000, correct?
It's a technical thing, technical.
Well, it's a number that isn't gonna be presented at the town meeting.
Right.
Or if we present this number, the
Right.
number that's gonna be
Less.
presented at town meeting.
Yeah, if
is
we present
higher
this
than
number,
what
they're
we
getting
have
more
to spend.
money.
Yeah, You're actually appropriating more money than we have
Right.
Available.
So the number should be you
Now
got
I'm
it
really
right there,
confused.
don't you? Should be 2,
That money goes
3.
directly to the schools and doesn't come through town meeting and doesn't need to be appropriated.
Okay,
Doesn't have to be appropriated at all.
okay. Because it comes-
Federal fund right directly to the.
So it'll be 23,114,572, is that right?
I'm sorry. 572?
No, that isn't right, no.
That's right. Given the,
It was 125.
authority to spend that money, why would you appropriate that thing?
23,144.
Because we have no control over that. That's not all the ARA money or the IDA money.
144,572.
144, right.
Thanks, Steve. That's why I have them sitting next to you.
That's why I brought my calculator.
But the error, I don't think that's right.
It's 125,000.
No, it's 125,686.
No.
125,686, okay.
You guys are doing this to me on purpose, right?
Yeah, right.
Because I have to read this motion?
All right.
Mike?
What number?
Steve will give
What's
it to you.
number?
Steve,
125, what is it? 125 what?
686. I think it's 23, 143, 886.
Yes, 23, 143.
Did it the old-fashioned way.
What was that last?
143,886.
886, right?
886.
23,
143,
143, 886.
Okay, so what that represents is what's coming out of the town revenue stream, which includes Chapter 70, but does not include any of the federal stimulus money. That goes to the school budget directly. Okay, Mr. Prisco.
And before I read the motion, I did miss on one little point that I really do want to point out and support Sean on his discussion about overtime. And I do think this is the time now, more than ever, we just kind of get it on the table about overtime as a town overall, and especially, obviously, the two largest budgets being police department and fire department. And I welcome that, because I am going to be meeting with them, and I welcome in the discussion some honesty about overtime, because we cannot continue to keep doing what we're doing. It's obviously, it's not realistic. So Sean, I appreciate all the work you've done on overtime, and I do support what your intentions are, and I think you're going down the right road, so I support it. Okay, now with that said, Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the FY 2011 municipal operating budget of $11,556,730, fixed cost appropriation of $14,019,596, Hillview Enterprise at $1,703,834, Water Enterprise at $3,130,738, and $23,143,886 for the schools, as proposed by the town administrator.
Second that.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
So the budget's done.
Okay, so
The budget's never done, yes,
It's
Mr.?
never truly done, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
There are, I don't know whether the board wants to discuss warrant articles, but I do have some information to give you tonight. There are several articles you have not made recommendations on. I realize you may want this information for your next meeting, but let me, if you would allow me just to go through them.
Why don't you make a quick summary? I think it'd be,
There are a few articles, again, that the board has not made recommendations on, and I'd like to go through those with you. The first is Article 20, which is capital expenditures. And there were two items proposed by the schools. One of them was a wheelchair lift. The other one was the funding of the technology lease. Those total $92,053. I'm also proposing this evening that we consider a supplemental appropriation for the ambulance for the purchase of power stretchers. That would be $5,512. So the total under the capital expenditure plan would be $97,565. The $92,053 would be funded by interdepartmental transfers, surplus monies from this fiscal year, and the $5,512 would be funded via free cash.
Greg, on the stretches, wasn't that originally in the budget for some amount, and now it's costing more? Is that how I'm reading that?
There was an amount that was appropriated at October town meeting. It was $20,000, and it turned to be insufficient. At the time, they hadn't realized that there were two items that needed to be replaced.
No, I thought when I read it had something to do with the battery, it's a different,
Different
A different-
model.
a
Different model and
It
it's
seems to
more
be
money.
working better for them.
And they've also had another one go out.
Right.
They had one, and it's gone down.
but we're not talking about the two replacements, we're talking about, or are we? That's what I'm concerned with.
You had a memo.
You refer to my report?
The way I read it was that he didn't purchase them because there was some new model coming out or a better battery arrangement, power pack, right?
I have a letter. in
And
my-
therefore, the accident occurred, the way I interpret it, was on one of the existing ambulance mechanisms. And with that out now, they've got a problem, so they've got a loaner from this company. But they want the ones with the better battery pack, and that's why they need the additional money. That's how I read
I
it.
think they had the advantage of having a loaner to try out, and it says here was received very well by the department, it worked well.
Mhm.
But it's gonna cost $5,000 more. But in the meantime, they lost one. And they've got a loaner again. So that we can have the backup ambulance functioning. So-
But I think
But
what they've
basically,
lost, they
that-
never bought, they never acquired
No.
the,
They
That's
didn't
right.
purchase, they never spent the
Never-
20,000.
never spent that.
So the 20,000 is still available, so we're just.
but they need
we're
5,000
looking for
more.
an additional $5,300, so
All right.
55.
5512, to purchase the model that they've actually test drove.
Right.
You know, they test use most of the year, and found that it works very well for them and minimizes the injuries to the firefighters. So, seems to make sense
Okay.
to me.
Does make sense to me, too.
And the school textbooks, how is that?
The school textbooks is to be funded, $86,000 from free cash. And it will be funded within their budget. It's not considered to be a capital item, so it doesn't appear in our capital improvement plan.
So where's that $86,000? How does that get into the school budget? So that's a number different than what we just approved.
Right.
We'll
No.
work out those details, Mr. Chairman, is all I can say.
No, I
So
think it
it-
includes that number.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
No, no,
No,
here.
it doesn't. It does
No,
not.
it does not.
It do-
Please give me an opportunity to work
Wait a
that
second.
out, and I will be
Wait.
happy to.
It has it right here.
Yeah, but
That
it's
number,
not on
we-
here.
Oh, Joe had it on the sheet?
it's on, the-
Oh, I'm not,
I don't
it's
know.
here,
I
at
don't know. I don't know what
86,
here is. What- can you just-
86,000. This is the last
Uh,
budget projection that we had May 6th.
Finance planning team,
Oh.
it's updated every week or so, every other week.
Was included.
I'm learning.
Massaging them.
As we took this number, that was the original number Greg gave us, and we subtracted that to get to the budget number we gave to the schools, so it's
Supposed to
there.
be up to date.
So it was included in what we
Closing
just,
in on
No,
balance
police,
of the
fire, and
budget.
overtime school. No, I don't think so.
Not
He's got
usually
these as
until
two
they've
separate
finally
numbers in
done
green.
but the 86
Worked
is
out
the free
numbers,
cash to
okay,
the
here's
school.
detail.
it's there.
It's there.
It's there?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
It's about the 43rd version.
It's there. It's there.
It's there, okay.
Don't underestimate yourself, get it in there.
No, he's
No, you know,
right.
something
He's-
like a lot of
Joe's-
numbers out there.
No, that's right. Joe had the
Please
ARA
understand,
money in there
one person.
also.
I know you do.
and
My
we
mind has a
subtracted that out.
limited capacity.
So that number's right.
That number's right.
That's correct.
Let me
6,000 or
talk
something.
about health insurance, one of your favorite subjects.
You know, I take
Do
it,
you want a recommendation on these articles?
If you wish, you can certainly go ahead and vote to
Capital?
approve.
capital?
So there's Article 20?
Do we have
Article
a
20.
Move to recommend Article 20 as presented by the town administrator.
Second.
okay, motion by Mr. O'Leary, seconded by Mr. Delaney. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you. Article 22 deals with Section 18. Article 23 deals with Section 18A. As you know, based upon a presentation that was made by one of the Finance Committee members, it's estimated that there can be a savings as a result of having some of our older employees shift from the HMO plan to the Medicare or MedX plan. That savings is estimated on the low end at $108,000 annually, and on the high end of $169,000 annually. There would also be a net savings in premiums that the town would pay. That savings is calculated at $64,218. That also accounts for a annual penalty of $30,900 as a result of switching our eligible employees to Section 18 who were not switched when that option originally became available at the time
Okay,
of
but
their
what it doesn't
retirement.
include is something we did learn at our meeting. This was in our chairs and vice chairs meeting. Is there's $100,000 we get from the government which is under Medicaid in the budget. It's a line item. And it's my